February is here, and so is our February box from Video Games Monthly. This is a monthly subscription service where you can go ahead and have retro games for a variety of different systems delivered right to your door. And the great thing, you can get as few as 3 games per month or as many per 10, all depending on what your budget is. Hey everyone, Gary here with Rock Solid Productions. I thank you for coming by and checking out what we have going on here today. I really do appreciate it. Do me a favor, hit that subscribe button and that bell notification. That way every time we do upload new content, you're kept informed and up to date. And what I want to know from you here today, so Video Games Monthly covers a lot of different systems. The Atari, the NES, the Master System, the Genesis, the Wii, the Wii U, even the PS4 and PS5. One system that's missing is the Saturn, and a lot of that is due to the cost of the games. Would you pay a higher price to be able to access more expensive titles like what the Saturn would have? We have Bug playing here behind me. So what we're going to do, we're going to unbox this, we're going to take a look at what we got, and if there are any cartridges in here, we're going to go and clean them up so that way we make sure that we are putting the best quality into our system. Let's go ahead. Let's hit the photo booth. As typical, we're going to dive into our box. I'm not going to take a look at what is in here. We're going to kind of pop it up and see it all together. Now, this does feel like it is a pretty full box, which is pretty neat. I always like to see them pack as much as they can in here to give you as best of a value. Kind of feel our way around here. Let's see. Oh, here's the goodie for this month. Video Games Monthly. Oh, it's a one-up cleaning card. Awesome. And I'm going to show you some more in a moment, but this is nice because this is the new design. It's the lower profile material here that'll fit into more games, which is awesome. Looks like we got a one-up, which means that we normally subscribe to the tier that gets us 5 games per month. This will actually mean there are 6. Make sure that you visit our friends over at oneupcard.com. Cannot agree with this enough. Adam is awesome, good friend of the channel here. Highly recommend his product. Doesn't pay me to say so. It's one of those, it just works. That's why I continue to use them and swear by them. So we've got one last card, which is win 3 free games. Post your box to social media for a chance to win 3 free games. Hope you enjoy your latest box. Please update your library on the website. All updates to your gaming library must be made within 7 days prior. And I screwed up on this because I made it 3 days prior. So I think I'm probably going to have some stuff in here that I tried to opt out of and I didn't. The first cartridge here feels, first of all, it is a cartridge for the N64 DK64. I actually have this for the US system. I am not a huge fan of DK64. I don't think it plays well. I don't think it looks great. So one thing I did want to show you real quick too. So I have the US version. This is the Japanese version. Now the main difference between, besides the languages, and I'm not sure if the Japanese version does have English on it or not. If you take a look, this tab here, that tab there, these tabs here, that's the region lock for these games. I actually 3D print and sell these region-free trays. I'm not sure if it goes that way or this way. Quite honestly, off the top of my head, I think it goes this way. But it's one of those where it will allow you to play import Japanese games on your US system fairly easily. Now, I actually even offer them in a couple different colors too. We've got white, yellow, I've done blue, black, and I'm actually running a sale on them on the 3D printer site right now, so that's pretty cool. DK64, not a great game as far as just the overall, I don't think it's a fun game, but we will open this up later and check and see the condition of the pins. Up next, it's another cartridge. Almost feels like Master System. Ooh! So Tiny Toon Adventures for the Famicom. That's pretty awesome. It's a Konami game. Now, and I've mentioned this before, if you ever have a game, and this is pretty easy to tell what it is. I mean, it has an English label on it. This RC860, you can type that into Google to find out what the title of the game is. So let's say Buster wasn't on there, didn't have Tiny Toon Adventures, and just had the Japanese writing here. Now, one thing, I have not been able to successfully open these to clean them, so we will use the one-up cleaning cards to clean that out. So we're a third of the way in. I'm feeling a case, an Xbox One game, Project Cars. Now, one thing that I will say is I have not really enjoyed playing racing games on the Xbox One as much as the PlayStation. I feel From a simulation standpoint, I don't think that they're as good. I think the cars don't drive as well on this, or on these games, as what the PlayStation games have. And I'm talking primarily the like the Formula 1 racing games. Actually, it's the same on both, so I can't say that's entirely true. And I will admit, Xbox games and PlayStation 4 games, while new to their service, I did actually put too late that I didn't want to get any this month. Let's see, got another cartridge. This feels like Super NES. Super Famicom. This is Super Mario All-Stars for the Super Famicom. I actually already have this, and I thought that I had marked it off that I had it. A little bit of label damage here. The label is pulling up, and then we do have some writing on the back. Overall, not terrible. Again, we'll open this one to see how it looks. So we have another cartridge. Feels like another either Super NES or Super Famicom. Star Fox, great game for the Super Famicom. Again, I've already got it. So this is one of the games that I actually own, the Japanese, the American, and I actually own the PAL version. They called it Star Wing in the EU due to copyright issues. I actually bought this back when I was in Germany 4 years ago this month. Holy cow, it was 4 years ago that I was in Germany. Starte mit dem Star Fox Team zum Gigagengriff. Du bist Fox McCloud, in für des Star Fox Teams. Flieg mit. I can't do any more. I mean, I can hear more and understand more than I can speak and whatnot myself. But so we do have Star Fox 64 for the Super Famicom. Now, one thing too, looking at that cartridge, definitely have some fading on the back. So this may be one of those where the front label looks decent. I may swap that out with the one that I currently have. I'll have to check. And one more to go. Feels like a disc. And it is... I feel like the boys over at Video Games Monthly are sending me a message with this one. Troll and I have never heard of this before. A little bit of damage to the wrapper there. Best original game from iWare Games E3 2016. Have you ever heard of iWare Games? I haven't. Embark on a wild adventure and discover the unbreakable bond between Troll and Otto, two outcasts struggling to survive and find their way back home. Okay. Again, this one sealed, but will become trade bait. But let's dive into our cartridges and see how the pins look. All right, so let's go ahead. We're going to crack open these games, but a couple tools I want to show you here first. I mentioned back in October I got into 3D printing, and this is one of the reasons why. Stuff like this, where I can go ahead, I can 3D print tool trays and whatnot to keep my stuff more organized. Absolutely love it. Don't ask me where you can buy this. I'm not selling this, as the person who came up with this file has not listed it as available for purchase or sale. The other thing, and we have a video coming up on this soon, is we've actually gotten a digital microscope, basically, where we can take a look at the pins so we can kind of see how clean, dirty, whatnot these are. Now we're going to start out with Tiny Toon Adventures, simply because this is one of those that I can't get inside the cartridge. I know that there's a way that you can like squeeze the cartridge together to release the tabs on the inside, but these are not very easy to get into. Now normally I would use a Game Boy 1-Up card to get in here, but since we have this handy dandy new low profile one from 1-Up Card and Video Games Monthly, we're going to use this one. So first things first is we are going to use just some 1-Up cleaning fluid, which is quite honestly just 97% isopropyl alcohol is what I've refilled this with. It has a fluid side and a dry side, and you don't want to get it on your hands. So just take it in here, run it back and forth. We'll see how dirty that looks. Not too terrible. I mean, I am getting some gunk off of here, which is good. That's what you want. Well, you don't really want it. You want this to be done before you get it, but you understand what I'm saying. So we will go ahead and we will pop this in our 60 to 72 pin adapter and get you some capture footage right now. All right, with Tiny Toon Adventures out of the way, let's go to DK64. Now, with DK64, you do need I believe this is the 3.8 millimeter bit here, and it is. Now, in addition to that, you'll want to have a small jeweler's screwdriver handy. Hey, dummy, you have that parts tray there. Use it, right? Just so that you can get off the RF shield that's on the inside. Now, if you do want to collect import Japanese N64 games, you can just buy like broken US games and swap the back off if you would like. These pins don't look too terrible. I don't think I'm going to have to bright boy them. Let's see if I can give you a closer look here using our digital microscope. Now I apologize because I should be able to record to the SD card on here, but I have not had any luck. Looking at these pins though, those look really, really good. A little bit of dirt, and you can see like scratches right there where you can see the pins were, you know, inserted and removed from the inside of a system. But overall, those look pretty good. I am still going to hit them with the 1-up card. And N64 cartridges are primarily why I would use the Game Boy cleaners on cartridges, is because the gap, I'll show you here on the old one, you can see how tall that is versus how thick that pad is. It's kind of a tight fit. As I go ahead and hit the tripod again. Just run that back and forth a few times. Dry side. I don't have my RGB modded N64 working right now. I actually screwed it up when I tried to install a Pixel FX. It's just one of those that my vision is still causing me some issues, and I have ruined 3 N64s, including that one. So the footage we're going to show you is going to be coming off of composite, if you believe it or not, going into my RetroTink 5X. And we'll go ahead and put our screws back in. Again, the key tip on these things, remember, unscrew slightly, screw it back in. We'll tighten it down. Same thing with the other screw. Unscrew, tighten it back down. That way, the nice thing is you're not cutting new threads, you're threading back into the old ones. So DK64 in really good shape. I'm really happy with the quality of that one. Up next, Star Fox. This also uses the same game bit. You can see how having a set of these on hand, super convenient, and you'll use them for just about any cartridge, except for, you know, Genesis ones tend to use either Phillips head screws, or they'll use the larger 4.5 millimeter. So you'll want to make sure that you have both of them. I'll pop this out. All right, this one, as Ellie Joe would say, is disgusting, but it is a huge cartridge too. I mean, just look at how big that overall board is and everything. Let's again give you a look under the microscope. So here we'll slide these across just as we did with the N64. Look at the dirt on those pins, and this is the cleaner side too. I'll flip it over here, give you a look at the other side. You can see some pitting and whatnot. Let's see if we can't focus a little bit more. There we go. A lot of pitting going on here. This one is going to get the Bright Boy treatment, so we're going to go ahead and do that. So what is Bright Boy? Bright Boy, for those who are unfamiliar, is this stuff here. It's actually just in another bottle. It comes in a rather large bottle. I will have a link down below. It is designed as a metal cleaner and metal polish. Now, for years and years, people had been using Brasso on their retro video games. And the problem with Brasso is it leaves a lot of crap behind. It's also an abrasive, so it's going to remove a lot of material from your pins. Bright Boy is not an abrasive, so it's not as harsh on your cartridges. And all we're gonna do here is we're just gonna run a little bead there, there, and there. Grab a cotton swab, you swab. Alrighty, look at how much that's pulling off of there. This cartridge was pretty gross, and looking at the back, I have to admit I was kind of anticipating this. Look at all that. Now, for a super deep clean, don't remove it all at once. Let it sit on there for a few minutes, let it work and kind of eat away at the crud that is on the cartridge, and that's what we're gonna do here as we go ahead and we're gonna apply some to the other side. Now, I know a lot of people may say too, why do you need 1-up cards when you can just use Bright Boy and cotton swabs? So a few things. Cotton swabs, will leave lint and fuzz and other crap behind when you are cleaning video games like this. The way that Adam has designed his material on the 1-Up cards is the fact that they are lint free, so they should leave little, if anything. I mean, there may be some little fibers. Look at that, that's gross. Little fibers behind, but overall it's going to leave your cartridges cleaner. Now, as far as using Bright Boy on everything out of the box, you don't want to do that because it is pretty harsh, and you are actually removing some material from the pins. Not a bunch, but some. You can get away with doing a little bit, but you don't want to do it over and over, especially if it's really just needs a spit shine. Not a literal spit shine, but you know what I'm saying. And here we're just going back through and cleaning off some of the excess. The other thing too, I've had people ask, why don't you just use 1-Up cards with Bright Boy? Well, the reason for that is one of the chemicals inside of Bright Boy actually attacks the adhesive that Adam uses to attach the cleaning pad to the cartridge itself. It breaks it down, it gums it up terribly, so you really don't want to do that. Look at all that. That's stuff that we are keeping out of our systems. Okay, so now that we have these pins pretty well cleaned, we're going to come through and we are going to hit it again with a 1-Up card just to make sure that we're getting all the excess Bright Boy off. That's the biggest thing. We don't want to leave any Bright Boy behind on these pins. Fluid side. You want to make sure too, after you've cleaned these pins, don't touch them with your fingers because you'll transfer dirt and oil and other crud from your fingers on over to these pins, which is the opposite of what we are trying to accomplish. To the naked eye, those look pretty good. We are going to throw this back under our digital microscope to see, did that do the difference? Look at how much cleaner. All that pitting is gone, all that black garbage is gone. You can still see the insertion marks. You can also see, you know, the side to side here where I was going with the cotton swab and with the 1-Up card. So looking at the back, I can still see a little bit of like pitting here, some black marks up towards the top. But overall, this is a lot better looking than what we had previously. I'll probably hit it one more time, but in the meantime, let's kind of show you some gameplay footage. Star Fox for the Super NES and Super Famicom, definitely a classic game. It is just so good in so many different ways, and I do already have a copy, as I mentioned earlier, but it's one of those that I will clean this up, and this will be a good item to add to someone else's collection down the road. And that, if you see, that's our second round of cleaning on this game. I mean, we still got a lot of gunk off of there. And the main thing, we're trying to keep all of this out of our system. That's the most important thing. That's why we do this. It's not just preservation of the games, it's preservation of the hardware too. Now we'll go ahead and get Star Fox put back together. Pretty amazing game. Like I say, it's one of my favorites on the system, and it looks and plays so good. As you saw there, that's actually through my Super Famicom Junior that I have one of Voltar's RGB mods installed in, and then I am playing through HD Retrovision component video cables and going into my RetroTank 5X, and it's beautiful. It looks and sounds so good, even for, was it 1993? So it is a 29-year-old game. Dear Lord, I just felt old just saying that. All right, final one up is going to be Super Mario All-Stars. Now, this is not Super Mario All-Stars plus Super Mario World. That was a different label. So this is just Super Mario 1, 2, and 3. That little parts tray, I am absolutely thrilled. I had thought about printing it for a while and just hadn't. I'm glad that I finally did. It's come in helpful just on this alone. But it is not wanting to come open. Something's going on here. Well, we can pull the game out in the interim. Also looks filthy, which is kind of a bummer. Why are we hooked on these tabs? There we go. Inside of the case doesn't look too bad, but the game itself, yeesh. It's not as dirty as Star Fox was, but it is not exactly clean. Now, this does have a CR2032 battery in here. I may end up replacing that. We are going to Bright Boy this one as well. We'll give you a look before So here you can see before, we don't have that black pitting like what we did on Star Fox, which is definitely a good thing. Let's take you over to the other side. Here we are seeing more of that blackness that we saw on the other side. So that's where Bright Boy will help kind of break that garbage down. So we're going to do the same thing that we did earlier on Star Fox. So just a light bead across. Grab a cotton swab. We're going to let the cleaner, the Bright Boy, do the work for us. But you can already see, look at that. That's what we're keeping out of our system. You're probably tired of hearing me talk about that, but seriously, that's all we're doing is we're trying to prevent contamination of your clean systems. Now, this is one of my favorite games on the Super Famicom or the Super NES, and a lot of it is because it's 3 great games from the NES, and they just look and sound a lot better than that Q-tip does right there. Look how filthy that was. So we'll let that kind of break that stuff down here. So after a couple minutes here, we're going to go ahead and just wipe off our excess. Bright Boy. Like Video Games Monthly, I can send you an affiliate link if you want to pick up some of this stuff. I know it'll take you longer to get the boxes out, and I do appreciate the fact that this box is here and delivered, 2 days into the month, and we had a major snowstorm that hit here on the 2nd, I want to say, and it was here on the 3rd. So, very cool of them. I just got to remember to go through and update. Ugh! Look at that. I got to remember to update my library sooner in the month. That's so gross. And this is all we are trying to keep out. Look at that. This is all stuff that we're trying to keep out of our systems. Now check the fluid side, a little bit dry. I'll add just a little strip. And we'll go and clean our pins. If you're not cleaning your games on the regular, you really need to be. This is something that, especially if you consider yourself to be a collector, someone who, not only owns the games, but, holds them in high esteem and high regard. You'll want to go ahead, do this on the regular. If you're not cleaning your collection once every 6 months, I'd say, just with the simple one-up card, look at all that crap that we got off. This was clean before we started with all of these games. Just remember that. This is garbage we've kept out of our system. Look. Okay. Let's give you one last close-up look here at the pins. Okay, so check this out. Check how clean those pins are. Those are remarkably clean. All that crud that we got off of there, all that stuff that we kept out of our system. I mean, it's pretty remarkable what a little bit of TLC can do to make sure that you have that you're taking the best care of your gear that you can. We're going to go ahead, we're going to put this one back together. We're going to see what we have total for the value of these games and kind of give you our thoughts on this month's box. So there you have it, our look at what we got for February of 2022 from Video Games Monthly. What do I think of it? It's hard to believe that this is a $61 box. And it just is. I mean, and part of it for me, quite honestly, is I look at the games that I already have. That's my own fault that I haven't updated my library. But even the PS4 and Xbox games, they're worth $6 each. So for me, these guys here, I mean, Project Cars and Troll and I still think these guys are sending me a message with this. I am on to you, Joe. I am on to you. But at $12 total for these 2 games, I mean, not a whole lot of value here for me. If I didn't already have them, I mean, Mario All-Stars and Star Fox, great games for the Super Famicom. This is actually my actual copy that I had before this, playing behind me through our Super Famicom. DK64, I'm on the fence, and this is a very polarizing game. Some people love it, some people hate it. I'm on the hate side of it. I am not a fan of DK64. I never really have been, and I could have sworn that I had this on my library. I may not have, and that's on me. So I've got to go back and double check my library. For me, the biggest win is Tiny Toon Adventures. I have this for the NES, and I'm okay with getting this for the Famicom as well. I absolutely love the Tiny Toon Adventures games. I mean, they're tiny, they're toony, we're all a little loony. It's Tiny Toon Adventures. It's about to start. Great games, great platformers. This is from Konami, and we all know how good the Konami games were. Now, I know I had said that January might be my last month and I decided to do February. Birthday gift to myself, what can I say? I'm not sure that I'm going to continue on in March or not. Let me know down in the comments, is this something you want to continue to see me do? If anything, I may pare it down from the 5 game per month to the 3 game per month just to save myself that $10 or $15 because quite honestly, I'm getting so many duplicates now and it's not their fault. It's one of those you can only put 200 games in per system, and especially on the NES, I have a very large collection of NES, Super NES as well, and especially when you mix in the imports with the US ones. I mean, there are times that I may only have the import version, and that's the only version I want, for example. But let me know what you think of this month's pickups, and I do think that Video Microscope is going to come in handy. You could definitely see the difference before and after when I was cleaning those games. Now, if you do want to check out Video Games Monthly, some of the other unboxings that we've done, some of the other tools and tips and tricks that we've learned over the years to keep our games clean for longer, those videos are coming up for you right now. Thank you so much for watching this episode. If you want to help support Rock Solid Productions and be a part of our community, there's a number of different ways you can do so. First and foremost, join us over on our Patreon page or become a channel member here on YouTube. By joining through either one of those methods, you get early access to just about all of our video content, exclusive content, and a whole lot more. We also give you shout outs at the end of each and every one of our videos. You can also pick up some awesome Rock Solid Productions swag. We've got t-shirts, sweatshirts, hoodies, and more available through our Teespring store on screen right now too. You can also pick up some of our awesome 3D printed cartridge stands, Amiibo holders, Nintendo DS holders, and more by visiting our 3D printer store on screen right now as well. Links for everything will be down below in a pinned comment. If you want to stay up to date with everything we have going on here at Rock Solid Productions, make sure that you're following us on the different social media networks. We're on Facebook at facebook.com/RockSolidProductions, Instagram at instagram.com/RockSolidProductionsGK, and Twitter at RockSolidStudios. If you're looking to pick this and other retro and modern gaming accessories up, make sure that you head on over to CastlemaniaGames.com. He has a feature over there called Castle Cash, where the more you spend, the more you earn towards future purchases, and Castle Cash is just like cash. He also offers convenient payment plans for more expensive items over $50. Finally, make sure that you use promo code ROCKSOLID10 when you're shopping at CastlemaniaGames.com, as it can save you up to 10% on most items on the website. Again, thank you for watching this episode, and I cannot wait to see you again soon.